Single dad fixes up old bike for daughter, woman watching is a billionaire who sends a new one. It was a crisp autumn morning in a small American town, the kind where maple leaves litter the sidewalks like confetti and the air carries the scent of cinnamon and smoke. At the end of Elm Street, in a modest single-story home with chipped paint and a squeaky screen door, a man knelt in the driveway, his hands greasy and stained with effort. That man was Jake Turner, a single father in his mid-30s, wearing a faded plaid shirt and worn jeans that had seen better days. His back ached from long hours of work at the auto shop, but he didn't let it show. In front of him stood an old, rusted bicycle, once red, now dull with age. The chain kept slipping, and the brakes squealed when touched. But he was determined. It was for Lily. His daughter, barely 8, watched him with wide eyes, her face smeared with the remnants of her morning pancake. She hugged the teddy bear close to her chest and asked for the third time that hour, "Daddy, do you think it'll be ready by this weekend?" Jake smiled, tired but genuine. "It'll fly by Saturday, sweetheart. Like a brand new bike. Just wait and see." Lily grinned and skipped off to the porch to play. Jake turned back to the task, tightening a bolt with careful precision. He didn't have much, never did, but everything he had, he poured into that little girl. Her mother had passed away when Lily was just a baby, and since then, Jake had carried the world on his shoulders, never once complaining. He worked double shifts, skipped meals, and patched things instead of replacing them, all so Lily could smile without worry. Across the street, parked in a sleek black SUV, a woman sat watching. Margot Langford was not a local. She had taken a detour through the neighborhood while on her way to visit an old estate she was thinking of converting into a community center. Dressed in an elegant trench coat and sipping a cappuccino, she glanced out her tinted window, eyes drawn to the quiet struggle unfolding before her. There was something about Jake's hunched posture and the way he carefully inspected each part of the bike, like it was more than metal and rubber. She rolled down her window a bit and listened. When Lily ran to show her father a drawing she'd made of him and the bike, her soft giggle carried across the street like music. Margot felt something shift inside her. She had built an empire of wealth and success, but it had come at a cost: loneliness, detachment, and a growing sense that she'd lost touch with the world that truly mattered. She watched as Jake gently tucked Lily's drawing into his shirt pocket and returned to work, despite the breeze picking up and his knuckles scraped from stubborn bolts. The next morning, Jake returned from his shift and walked out with a cup of coffee in one hand and a box of spare parts in the other. But something was different. In the driveway stood a bicycle. A brand new, sparkling pink and purple bicycle with a white basket, glitter streamers on the handlebars, and training wheels still wrapped in protective plastic. A silver bow was perched on the seat. Jake froze. His mind raced. He looked around, thinking maybe a neighbor had dropped it off by mistake. But there was no note. No one in sight. Just a silent gift that shimmered in the morning sun like a miracle. "Daddy!" Lily squealed, running outside in her pajamas. "Is that for me?" Jake knelt beside her, inspecting the bike. Every inch was perfect, too perfect. This wasn't some off-the-shelf toy store model. This was custom, safe, durable, and expensive. "I don't know, honey," he said, confused and wary. Maybe someone made a mistake. But a card fluttered from beneath the handlebars. He picked it up, and inside, written in clean, elegant handwriting, it read, "Some things in life can't be fixed with tools. But love and effort are everything. I saw yours. Please accept this small gift. A friend." Jake stared at the card, his eyes misting over. It wasn't about the bike, it was the recognition. Someone had seen him. Not as a poor man or a tired mechanic, but as a father doing his best. Margot, still watching from a block away, saw Lily pedaling down the sidewalk in her pajamas, laughter ringing through the air, and Jake walking behind her with a hand over his heart. She didn't need to be thanked. This was enough. But fate wasn't finished. That weekend, the town hosted its annual fall fair, complete with food stalls, music, and a charity auction. Jake brought Lily, proudly walking beside her as she rode the new bike like a champion. Margot was there, too, incognito in jeans and a sweater. She wandered past booths until she saw them again, Lily getting her face painted, Jake chatting with an elderly vendor about bike gears. Before she could walk away, Lily spotted her. "Hi. Are you the lady who sent my bike?" she asked, startling Margot. Jake turned, realizing what was happening. Their eyes met. He recognized her now, the billionaire philanthropist whose face sometimes appeared in magazines at the checkout aisle. Margot smiled gently. "I might be," she said. "Did you like it?" Lily beamed. "It's the best ever." Jake walked over, hesitant but sincere. "Thank you," he said quietly. "You didn't have to." "I wanted to," Margot replied. "I was just passing by, and your love for her. It reminded me what really matters." They stood in silence for a moment, the noise of the fair buzzing around them like background music to a more important moment. Margot extended her hand. "Would you ever consider working on something a bit bigger than bikes?" Jake frowned. "Like what?" "I'm building community centers, places where people like you can teach skills, help kids, change lives. You have the heart for it. And Lily. She deserves to grow up seeing her dad do something amazing." Jake looked at his daughter, then back at the woman who had seen more in him than he saw in himself. "I'd be honored." 2 months later, Jake was no longer just a mechanic. He was the manager of a new outreach garage, where underprivileged kids came to learn hands-on skills, fixing bikes, scooters, even small engines. Margot funded it, but Jake was the heart behind it. Lily proudly told her classmates, "My daddy teaches kids how to build stuff." And Margot? She visited often, not as a billionaire, but as a friend. The bike still stood in their garage, polished and gleaming, not just a gift of metal and wheels, but a symbol of hope, of being seen, of the quiet power of kindness. Moral of the story: sometimes, the greatest transformations begin with the smallest acts. A tired father fixing an old bike out of love, a stranger who chooses to watch instead of walk away. In a world full of noise and distraction, it's the moments of silent compassion, the kind that expect nothing in return, that change lives forever. Because you never know who's watching. And you never know how far your love might travel. And sometimes, a bike is never just a bike. It's a beginning.